Mr. Walmer. This year, I was just 23 years ago, I was out here receiving the award that I'm about to give out tonight. And for a lot of my life, I've been a part of Wilson High School. For more than half of my life, I've been a part of Wilson High School. And to be honored with the privilege of being named the head coach this year, I want to thank Brian Chittard and Mike Easton for giving me the opportunity. I want to thank my seniors I've known for 4 years or more, going back to when they were in 8th grade. Thank the parents, thank my wife Darcy, and my assistant coaches that are here today. Brian O'Leary, Casey Weiser, Phil Johnson, Nate Grisham, Dr. Baker, Jacob Hockett. Greg Hermans is not here. Arun Reimer is probably coaching JBO right now. He coaches a couple of teams. And Ryan Arditi, who's also a Wilson graduate. This year our record was 17-11 on the season. We were 13-4 in the PIO, which was good enough to be second place. We played in the first round of the playoffs, and we faced later in the week, I believe, that Jacob Bennett from Tualatin was named Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Oregon. We had the privilege of facing the top player in the state in our first round. We battled as we had all season, but the outcome was in Tualatin's favor. This year in league play, coming in second place, we did do well in the all-league voting. Our all-league members, honorable mention, Liam Wogan, infield, Tommy Harvison, pitcher, Sean Haxby, pitcher, Michael Wageman, outfield, Matt Harvison, outfield. Second teamers, Orlando Lorang, outfield, Tommy Harvison, outfield, Cole Conklin, utility, and Ben Turker, catcher. Our first team, all-league members, Jackson Miller. Jackson, you already played 4 sports, you don't need a 5th. Jackson Miller, the all-league DH, Evan Shreve, an all-league infielder, and Jacob Quintero, an all-league pitcher. This year's Outstanding Player Award was voted on by his teammates. Through 25 games that he appeared and had more than 2 plate appearances. Baseball's a lot about statistics, but he reached base in every single one of those games. He was a scrapper, meaning he would battle till the end, even if he was taking line drives off his chest or forearm. He started on the mound 4 out of our last 5 games. Our outstanding player for 2015 is Matt Harbison. Mr. Easton. Thank you. To celebrate these baseball players and the seniors especially, that this was an outstanding year where we were able to play 81 games, 26 at every level, and then we actually worked in an extra game. We had to nickname it JV2, create a new team so they could get all the JV guys who hadn't played their 9 games, and with a couple of varsity guys, and they played against the JV2 team. So we could get that extra game in, and then along with our endowment game against Oregon City in the playoff game, we played 81 games. So some of you mathematicians out there can figure out the number of outs and plate appearances, the experience that these guys gained all the way from being the freshmen all the way through seniors. And so that's always been a part of Wilson baseball. With Mike Clopton, formerly the athletic director, he was able to go out and schedule those games. This year, that JV3 versus JV2 was actually Phil Johnson's idea. It was a great idea to try to get the maximum amount of experience for his players. And believe me, we heard about that from him throughout the year. Being a part of Wilson baseball for Wilson High School, Wilson baseball for more than half my life, the first thing I met Coach Clopton before school started, before my freshman year, walking the halls. My mom was walking down. My uncle played against Coach Clopton in high school. And walking through the halls, the first thing he says, he asks, is Jeremy playing football? And my mom responded, of course, because that's what freshman moms do. They respond for their kid. And so she said, no, he's not. He wants to focus on his grades. And the first thing out of Coach Clopton's mouth was student athletes perform, on average, better in the classroom than non-student athletes. And those were the first. I didn't even look at him. My head was down. I just heard the voice and knew that a lot of people in my family knew the guy. And that was however long ago, would have been 26 years ago, I believe. So very fortunate to take on a program that really he put together over 32 years. And just grateful to Mr. Chittard and Mr. Easton for allowing me to take on this role. Coach Clopton in 2003, I believe, he said that he had 4 more years in it. And we kept saying a little bit more. You got to year, I think, 28, and I said, hey, about 2 more, right? You get to 30. And he went a couple more beyond that. And the experience that I was able to gain gave me a good opportunity to be somewhat successful this year, not just as a coach or an administrator. This was also my first year in the dean position at Wilson, another role that Coach Clopton had when he was here. So head baseball coach first year, dean first year, still teaching a couple algebra classes. This was a great experience for this year, and I see that things are just going to get better. This year, our varsity team had some success, and I told my wife early in the year, I said, if we don't win the PIL, they should fire me. Well, hopefully they don't fire me, because I'd like to come back and make good next year and the year after. As I went through the season, I realized that I'm not just the coach of the class of 2015. Right? I'm not just the 2015 varsity baseball coach. The coach of this program, the Wilson baseball program. And I see in the future, the class of 2016, the class of 2017, the class of 2018, 19, 20. As long as my wife will allow me to do this, I see that we're building something. The other day, we're continuing something. The other day, I was able to work at a concession stand with my daughter for the Jake's game, and it was an experience. I want to thank Kevin Craik and Jan Haxby for stepping up and helping me. Doing that gave me an appreciation for what you parents do, and I appreciate everything that you've done to be able to support your students, athletes, and give your time to the program, and give your time to your children. As an administrator in a school, it's beneficial for us to see that involvement from the parents. It's a great thing to see. We wouldn't be here without you, parents, so thank you very much for all of your hard work. this year, so how this will work, we'll bring up our JV2 guys, and they'll, Coach Phil will get through their awards, and we'll bring up the JV, and then we'll bring back the varsity, and then the seniors will have a little bit at the end. But before that, we don't have the awards for these, but they can come up here when I call their name. Scholar athletes. Again, student before the athlete. I think finally made some corrections, and I got a couple things right on my calculations here. At the freshman level, for third quarter grades, we had 2 students with 4.0 GPAs, Sammy Duvall and Clay Hunter. Please come down. Certificates for you guys a little bit later. Stay up here. We'll get a picture. Sophomore class, there's a 4.0, Sean Bowden. Come on down. Junior class, Jackson Miller had a 3.88 GPA. And then at the senior class, Orlando Lorang with a 3.8 GPA. Hey, he planned his schedule, right? Makes him pretty smart, right? If you guys are dishing on him. You guys can have a seat, thank you. Thanked our coaches a little bit upstairs, but obviously I think over the years Coach Clopton has had some good help, because you can't do it a lot by yourself. You can't do a lot by yourself. You got to have others. Phil Johnson and Nate Grisham, our JV2 and JV head coach, were amazing this year in the terms that they were on call anytime I needed them. Nate anytime during the normal hours of the day, and then Phil just a little bit later. But on call for whatever we needed. If they needed to run by Ewing and Tiger to pick up some paint, go down to Basher's and pick up some uniforms, get some baseballs, take care of the field. Phil, can you go mow? I can take care of it, and he can do it. And they were able to do that throughout this year, and so that made things so much easier dealing with everything else that we had to work around. Coach Weiser, his wise tutelage, being coached by Coach Clopton at Jackson, being around the community, understanding baseball, working with a lot of our players in the off season with the rule of 2. Coach O'Leary bringing new ideas, keeping me on task, reminding me, to keep moving forward. Dr. Baker, love it when Dr. Baker gets excited about things. In this freshman class, it was the most excited that he's been in a while. Sorry, sophomore, junior, senior classes. But this freshman class, Dr. Baker, I haven't seen him so active out there in a few years. And so that's great, because Dr. Baker's been here, I think, a year longer than I have in terms of assisting this program in more ways than you can imagine. It's outstanding that we have assistants that will keep coming back and contributing to the program. Ryan Arditi tried to walk away from the program. He had a job that wasn't permitting, but we roped him back in for another year. Greg Hermans, he was our needed somebody to replace Coach Clopton at the pancake breakfast, and Greg Hermans was he's the man. He had to ice for a couple days after that, but we got him a complete game there, like 1,400 pancakes or something. Arun Reimer helped out when he could, and then himself and former or Wilson alumni John Venables are guiding the 8th grade team, the JV2 team, like they were rained out today. So in terms of the coaches that surround your students, student athletes, I don't know if we could get a better group to be able to put in the time that they put in. And now we're already into Summer League, and all of them are helping out with Summer League. So this is very, very fortunate to have the help that we do. Each player tonight will receive a participation award for their level, and then there are special awards. Coaches decided on Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and the Pitcher of the Year. The team votes on Most Improved, Most Inspirational, and Outstanding Player. Those of you that were in the auditorium to begin with, Matt Harbison was the varsity outstanding player, and we'll talk a little bit more about him a little bit later. Let's talk about hockey. Coach Hockey didn't want me to, I can't put him on the spot. He asked me earlier if he wanted me or wanted him to talk, and I said, no, I'll take care of all the talking, and he thanked me. And then obviously I left him off here. But Coach Hockett was the most active coach preseason. He was the one leading the charge at 6 a.m. in the morning, lifting weights with the players that wanted to show up. He and I spent some time preseason back in December going through 6 weeks of conditioning workouts, things that we hadn't really ever done before, but we went through, broke everything down that we'd done in the past, threw away some of the things we hadn't done, and looked at what we were doing preseason, and we're still in process of trying to improve that, right? Trying to make us a better program pre-season, not just when the season starts. We still participated with our mile run test. We had our jump rope test. Coach Hockett was indispensable. This year was the first year that the PIL actually gave another stipend, and Coach Hockett was that person at the varsity level to be able to get that varsity assistant stipend. Did an outstanding job coaching this year. So all the assistant coaches, thank you very much. Phil, you're up. Coach Hockett was on here, I just skipped over it. Sorry.
Before I get into anything regarding the season, I quickly want to acknowledge Coach Greg Hermans and Dr. Jim Baker. Words cannot describe how influential and important you two were this season to this team. And I know I appreciated it. I know the players loved having you around. It was great to have you, so thank you guys very much for everything you did. Looking back on the season, it was interesting to say the least. It was one of the more challenging years at the freshman level I can remember in a while. Not because of us, we were pretty damn good. We faced some teams that just weren't as good as us. And it was a challenge because, I'm sure there's a better way to say it, but I think the Little League team in this area could have beat some of the teams we faced. And so, going throughout the season, we would have to adjust ourselves a little bit, but it was never, if you look at our schedule, you'll see who we played. And in our minds, it was never, oh, we're playing this team today or that team today. It was all about being better than the team we were the day before. That was our main goal. So at times I know it was challenging for the players, probably frustrating for the parents to see us go out and try and keep the scores close when we could be running it up. But it was all part of a bigger picture, a bigger plan. We have, for this team and this group, bigger goals than a freshman season. The way I like to view it, it's kind of like a pyramid, or if you look at the W, it's that middle part. This whole year, we set the foundation to it. We took that first step in climbing up this pyramid, climbing up the ladder. And I can honestly say from first day of practice to the last game of the season, we beat the JV team, JV3 team, sorry. JV2. We honestly got better each and every day. And at times, it was a struggle to keep pounding home the same message, but we were able to do so. And I could not be prouder of how they came together as a team and what they accomplished this year. And those lessons that they learned, hopefully, if they continue to stick out the remaining 3 years in this program, what they have learned this year will go a lot farther than how to swing a bat or how to throw a ball. It's the life lessons about waking up each day and being better than the person you were the day before. So without further ado, if we could have those freshman players come up here and line up, please. Thank you. We will hand out the participation awards. Yeah. So as I hand these out, if you could please, I know you love your child, we all do, but if you could hold your applause to the end and cheer for them as a unit, that would be appreciated. P.D. Wogan, come up here. Thank you.
Yeah, P.D. Wogan.
Alex Tack. Desi Oliveira.
Yeah, buddy.
Max Menikoff. Carson Craig. Samuel Kiguchi. Matthew Jacobson. Clay Hunter. Ben Haxby. Henry Hansen.
Oh, thanks. Baby. Oh, the kicks.
Grant Guile.
Because I don't know how I can shake your hand.
Sammy Duvall. All right, now we are on to our awards voted on by the players, and this you can clap if you would like. Thank you. Most inspirational player for the JV2 team voted on by his teammates, Alex Tapp. Before I give this award, I just want to say that this player, the first day of practice, couldn't throw a ball over 20 feet. And by the end of the year, he became a pitcher that threw 4 innings against a team. He had, I think, 5 strikeouts that day. He improved quite a bit. Most improved player for the JV2 team, voted on by his teammates, Max Menikoff. Defensive Player of the Year. He had 1 error, came in the last game. P.D. Wogan. Offensive Player of the Year. Desi Oliveras. Outstanding pitcher, voted on by his teammates, Ben Haxby. And the Outstanding Player Award for the JV2 season, voted on by his teammates, Sammy Duvall. And that is your JV2 team. Thank you very Okay, thank you all for being here. I'd like to thank first all my assistant coaches, so give them a round of applause. So I had an interesting chat with Coach Aker and Coach Weiser a few weeks ago after practice. It was a wet and crummy day similar to this one, which made me think of this conversation earlier today. Coach Aker made a comment about how much money one of the assistant basketball coaches at Oregon State had made in the previous year. I don't remember that number, but it had a few more zeros on it than my last PPS check, but we won't go there. Coach Weiser then asked Coach Aker if he ever had aspirations to coach at the collegiate level. Coach Aker said no. He said, "I like where I'm at here at this level, being able to take a group of kids and make something out of it. That's a challenge, and that's the fun part of it every year." What I'm getting at here is that we're not here for the money. We're here for the challenges, the fun, and the passion that we share with your sons for the game of baseball. This has been my second year in the Wilson baseball program, and I feel like it's another successful year under the new regime. Yes, we went 19-7, or I guess 19-8 with an asterisk next to it if you want to count the loss to JV2 and Phil's group, which ended our 14-game win streak, but that's okay. But baseball is often described as a game of failure, where 7 out of 10 times you can fail and make mistakes and you're considered a Hall of Famer. Nowhere else in life can really mimic that. And that's why I feel like this game is so unique and often misunderstood. It's such a learning tool for these young men about dealing with failure, adversity, and expectations. So my expectations for this group were high to start the year, and you guys exceeded them. So I will go back to my conversation with Coach Aker here before I close. He talked about how at the college level you have the luxury of going out and recruiting talent from across the country. We don't. So with that being said, our players have to buy into the different roles for that specific season, whether it's playing a different position, hitting a different part of the lineup, etc. This group bought into their roles early in the year, and our group meshed and continued to improve throughout the year. We dealt with a little adversity and a little bit of, I guess, failure in the beginning. I know the exit meetings with Coach Shetler, a lot of you guys talked about the Grant game and how we lost that one there in extra innings, but you guys it was needed in a way, and we built from that adversity and that failure, and we didn't look back. I talked about peaks and valleys, and I told you guys that the Grant team, they had peaked early, okay? They had played their best game of the year. And then we had the Grant game get rained out and rescheduled and rained out and rescheduled. It was like we were playing the Yankees or somebody. They kept asking me and asking me and asking me. So then we finally played them, and they got their revenge, so that was pretty cool. So in closing, thank the parents. You're a very good support group for all of us here as a program, not just your players, your sons, and your fellow coaches here with us today. So I'd like to call all of you guys up now and be recognized. Let's see. So my first award here is a special one, and this one goes to Phil Johnson for being best dressed. Again, so defensive player of the year goes to Alex Sabo. Offensive player of the year goes to Garrett Leeper. Let's see here. Outstanding pitcher award goes to Noah Keogh. And let's see. He is not in attendance this evening, but I will address it. Most improved JV player goes to Bennett 19 Smith. Most inspirational goes to Wesley Crawford. And outstanding player goes to Noah Keogh. I'd also like to recognize their teammates as well, Corey Bissonette. Sean Bowden. Cade Conklin. Wesley Crawford. Marcus Downs. Connor Japort. Noah Keogh. Garrett Leeper. Alex Sabo. Jack Williams. And Laddie Worth. All right. Jeremy, you ready? Okay. Thank you.